Hey champions, today I'll be talking about a post that I made in Twitter today that I stated that Bitcoin is in a very dangerous position right now. And I'll explain in this video what this means. Okay, so let's just move to the chart of Bitcoin. And if you have not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do subscribe. We do a lot of really good Bitcoin and altcoin price targets that can really help you in identifying where to sell or where to buy Bitcoin. Okay, so let's just look at the chart. And here I have a ABC pivot drawn into the Bitcoin chart. Okay, and the ABC pivot is basically just an A wave, AB wave, and a BC wave, just two waves. Okay, and I drew a pitchfork indicator, which is a free indicator in TradingView. Okay, just find it right here, a pitchfork. And you can just draw it at the ABC pivot. Okay, so right here, notice that when price came up from the pivot C, okay, let's just remove the modified shift first. Okay, just look at this pitchfork. So as price went up from the pivot C, it did not touch the median line. Okay, so just look at this, and it did not touch. So that is a call of failure, a price failure of the median line, and this is a very bearish indicator. Okay, so whenever we look at the price failures, the natural target of such failures would be the 53K right here, so which is the pivot C. All right. So, but then it doesn't always happen, and I do have a pretty good likelihood that it might not happen. Okay, because the trend, the reversal trend, as we have seen in the recent days, has been quite strong. So I am at least giving it a chance of proving itself that it's not that bearish. Okay, and as I've stated in my Twitter post right here, okay, there's a possibility that it might still give us a bullish signal. Okay, so let's just look at what do I mean by a bullish signal. So the bullish signal will be what I call a counter failure. Okay, so a counter failure is when you draw a forward median. Okay, so a forward median is drawn from the B point, the B pivot, B, C, and the next point you can see right here, the point that failed the first median line. Okay, and notice that we have another pitchfork being drawn here, and price currently is moving downwards towards this pitchfork median line. All right. So what do I mean by a counter failure, as stated inside this inside this post, counter failure, okay, which is the bullish indicator that we want to see, so that Bitcoin would not crash all the way down to the 53K, right? So what is the indicator? The indicator is you go down here somewhere around this point, and it will reverse upwards, okay, and without even touching the median line. So that will be what I call a counter failure, okay. And you can actually see that in the S&P. If I can pull up the chart of S&P, okay, so somewhere around here where the S&P actually gave us a median failure some point around during the bear market bottom. Okay, so if I can find the exact location, I believe it was around here. So when price came up from the bottom of the bear market, okay, right around here, I believe this was the failure. Yeah, exactly. It's almost like it looks very similar to Bitcoin today. Okay, if you notice, right, this is the S&P during the 2022 bear market. Now that's the bottom. All right, and notice that price came up in a very similar way as Bitcoin. Okay, so it came up towards the median line, and then it did not touch the median line. It failed it. Okay, so right over here, it failed the median line. Right, it failed the median line right here, and then it came down. Okay, and doing this movement downwards, it also did a counter failure. Okay, so if I were to draw a forward median right here, okay, so I can draw it properly, is right at this point. Notice that price, when it came down from the pivot C of the forward median, so this is the forward median. Okay, when the price came down, I mean, towards the forward median, it did not touch the median at all. So basically, it just reversed and created a counter failure. Okay, so a counter failure is where we have an initial failure right here, which is a very bearish signal, and the price target for this failure is the pivot C. Okay, which is this price. Okay, but notice that price did not reach this level. Instead, reversed right before it happened. Okay, and the counter failure was the thing that actually forced it upwards. So this is something that we saw in the S&P around 2 years ago. So I believe this is something that could happen to Bitcoin because if you notice, the wave is very similar in structure, very strong, very straight, sort of a wave that is possible. It could create this kind of counter failure. Okay, so let's just move back to Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is here, right? So this is something that I hope would happen to Bitcoin at least. Okay, before we see the all-time highs, and this is something that I am predicting in the future, in the next few months, is that we will get a all-time highs, all right? And for all-time highs to happen, I believe this indicator will be a very important thing. Okay, if it does not happen, then it's going to complicate things a lot more, right? So a counter failure, basically price comes down towards here. Maybe it goes a little bit lower. We can't really be sure about that. Okay, so maybe it goes like maybe sideways or maybe towards this 58K or maybe even 57K. It doesn't touch the median line and then it reverses back up. Yeah, this is the counter failure that I've been explaining inside my Twitter post right here, the counter failure. So hopefully we can see this happen in the next few days, right? So the next topic I want to talk about is what exactly caused today's crash, right? I mean, you know, the first thing is that, of course, we have the missiles flying in the Middle East, okay? So obviously, when we see such things, you know, yeah, so we have one country that wants to destroy the oil producing capability of another country in the Middle East, okay? So as explained here, so this can actually cause a slight panic in the oil market. Okay, so let's just look at a few charts in oil. So let's maybe around here where we get to here. So notice that we have quite a lot of rebound from the bottom in a lot of oil stocks. So notice this oil stock right here. Right, this is the ETF. ExxonMobil, yeah, quite bullish. Okay, so it shows that there is quite a lot of bullishness in the oil markets in response to this news that there's going to be some kind of destruction of oil producing capability, right? So there's yeah, as this tweet explains, like an attack in Iran's oil export, and so it's going to like yeah, damage oil revenue, things like that, right? So it creates a little bit of fear in the market that oil prices might rise in the future. And why is this so important? Okay, so let's just look at one of the indicators that we have here. So Forex Factory. Okay, if I type it correctly. Yep. And notice that there is quite a lot of bullish, not bullish, above expected job numbers. So notice that it's 143. So we got above expected job numbers today. Okay, this is one of the news that we have that is causing Bitcoin to crash. All right, and why is this so important? Is also because when the Jerome Powell, the Federal Reserve chairman, on Monday, he explains that he's going to look at job numbers. Okay, so he spoke on Monday, and he stated that he's going to look at job numbers to determine future Federal Reserve policy. Okay, so we are hoping that he would cut 50 basis points or 0.5%. But then maybe they might not cut so much in the next time, maybe around 0.25%. Okay, so and that's the reason. The reason is because we have better than expected job numbers from the US. So, like for example, I think yesterday we had something, right? Job openings, right? And we have better than expected numbers. Also, today we have better than expected employment numbers from the US. Okay, so those two things that it basically states that it tells us that Jerome Powell and the rest of the Federal Reserve, they will not cut so much in the next time, which is temporarily bearish for Bitcoin. Okay, because Bitcoin is a risk-on asset, and it really depends on a very dovish Federal Reserve policy for it to do very well. Okay, because it's a very risk-on asset. So yeah, and also tying together with the news from Middle East, right? When oil prices go up, things like inflation and CPI tends to go up. Okay, and these things can also cause the Federal Reserve to adjust its its policy in the future. Okay, maybe they might not cut so much, because there's a higher than expected inflation due to this oil situation in the Middle East. Okay, so that's probably the reason why Bitcoin crashed temporarily today. Okay, and probably it might go a bit more. Let's just watch what happens in the short term. Okay, but overall, we are seeing some good news on Bitcoin. Okay, despite this very scary looking downtrend. Okay, so price it actually committed above the 200-day moving average. So this pink color line you can see here, that's the 200-day moving average. Okay, so price has already committed above it, and then now it's just chopping sideways. Okay, this is way better than the first interaction, which is right here. So during the first interaction, price actually rejected it completely, goes down. This time it's just going sideways. So this is a much better reaction, okay, than before. So yeah, generally I'm still not trying to fight Bitcoin, okay, and saying that it's going to go all the way down to the all-time lows, like 40K or something like this. I'm not fighting Bitcoin right now. Okay, I do see some good news coming in. Okay, so that's all my updates for today, Bitcoin. So if you really enjoy this video, please subscribe. Okay, please subscribe and look at my Twitter account. That's all my latest updates are all being posted there. All right, so yeah, thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.